Pay close attention. This isn't something you see every day.
Welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 Final Challengers Akuma. And let me tell you something, I've been waiting for this guy for a while, and I had him ordered on BBTS, and I have to give a shout out to CB Hunt because he's the one who sent me the link on Amazon to be able to get this guy a little bit earlier, and that's how I got this guy. So shout out to CB Hunt. If you guys haven't seen him, definitely go check him out. Great content creator. Give him a look if you haven't checked him out already. Now, moving on. Here we have Akuma in the box. Of course, we have the arcade style packaging as we do with all the others. And no, this is not a deluxe the way Zangief or Blanca was. So, which therefore is just regular size. Player 1, player 2. Of course, nice little artwork of Akuma right here. And then on the bottom, we have the UPC right here. Everybody who's in charge of actually making the character. On the side, we have his name, place of origin, fighting style, and yes, we have more artwork on the other side. And on the back, of course, we have a picture of the excuse me, of the character, and then all the sprites from the actual arcade down here below. And love the way that they put the question mark over here over Scott's face. For it can either be Sagat or it can be computer choice, however they're doing that, or whatever the case they're looking to do with that. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's get Akuma out of this packaging and let's have a look. We have Akuma out of the packaging. Here he is in all his glory, and let me tell you something, this is a great looking figure. Now you guys have to remember that this Akuma is not the Alpha 3.0 like Storm Arena is doing. This is Street Fighter 2 Ultra Final Challengers version of Street Fighter, version of Akuma. So they took it straight off the video game art, which they have done a phenomenal job in doing. And I love the way they did his gi. Beautifully done. Very silk looking, the way they did the gloss on it. Nicely done. Love the fact that they included the huge conch on the back of his gi. Now, looking at the figure itself, and that's an iconic pose right here, where he's standing here just showing the conch in the back, looking like this. That's the reason why I started this out like this, because it's just the way Akuma, we've seen a lot of artwork of Akuma standing like that. So I remember when this guy first came out, he you get into a battle with you get to Bison, and when you got to Bison, Akuma would come in and do the Raging Demon on him and pretty much kill Bison, and then you were fighting Akuma. Anyway, enough of that. So starting at the head to the toes, you have his stoic face, and man, that is definitely a great looking face right there. That Akuma, that's the way he looked. Very evil, very strong. Love the way they did the fiery look in his hair, along with his bun up top. And yes, on his necklace, mine seems a little bit kind of strange right here, but it is what it is. You can move these around. It's on like a little plastic, like stretchy tie. And then they were able to paint his conch right here onto his beads. And these beads belong to his master, who he killed and then took for himself, Akuma, the master of the Dark Hado. And then he actually fought his brother for Ryu, for possession of Ryu, which he beat his brother, supposedly had killed him, but yet, if you know, Goken still lives. Anyway, I love the fact that the way they did the tears right here on the shoulder of his gi. I ramble, I apologize. And then the tears right here also as well. And this side's a little bit more torn than this over here. Very nice. It's not just uniformly, uniform all the way around the way the tear is. Anyway, a little bit of shading here in the chest, down to the belt, which has always been like a rope. There's gloves on his hands, down to the pants, the gi pants, and they're all torn at the bottom as well. And then this, he has flip-flops. If I'm not mistaken, when he originally showed up, he was wearing sabots, not flip-flops. So those are like the Japanese shoes. They're kind of like a flip-flop, but they're wood, and they have like the wooden dowel going across the bottom of them. And they were rope, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, if I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments down below. But I could have sworn that when the character first came out, he was wearing sabots, not flip-flops. But anyway, I digress. The good-looking figure, all the way around, nicely painted, very, very, very well done. And yeah, so yes, they have a new butterfly hinge in here for him to move his arms. So if you wanted him to do almost kind of like an X pose, you can. Doesn't go all the way across. Maybe if I turn his bicep in a little bit, you can get him to cross his arms. But it's definitely a lot better than what they were doing. And I know Balrog comes with this too as well. But to set him up, oh, and yes, this elbow was seized here, right here. On this, I had to heat that up. So just remember to warm up these figures if they are seized. Not many of them do I get from Jada that are actually seized up. A little tight, but never seized like that one. But I did this time, so there's always a first for everything. So anyway, moving him around, if I can get him to pose. Everything, like I said, is tight when it comes to this guy. So to get him to pose out, get him in a couple little poses, there you go, you can get him posed out. Pretty simple, pretty easy, not too bad. I do like the way they did the toe hinge here, and the flip-flop moves with it, just like they did DSH Figure Arts Luffy with his flip-flops. So that's cool. So when you want him to stand on his foot like that, the flip-flop's gonna move just like it would naturally. But there's a cool little pose for him. What's the iconic one that he has? I don't know if I can even do it. It's where he stands kind of one hand like this, looking off to the side, right? I could be wrong. Because one was something like this. It's usually where you see him. But fighting wise, yeah, you could get him throwing punches. So you want him to come across with this, turn him at the waist. There you go, he's got a nice little punch to throw right there, which is very nice. You want him to do a hook, you can have him doing a hook as well. Once again, same thing. He's throwing a hook punch. Let's get this elbow bent just a little bit more. Hook punch, keep his face guarded, right across. Yeah. You can do a hook this way, put your hand that way, or do a hook that way. Either way, you can still do a hook. Coming across, punch. You want to do a high block, you can do a high block. So, let's see. Let's get this turned correctly if I can get it right. You can do a high block. You can do a bunch of cool stuff. You can have him with his hands here like this in a horse stance. I think they could have done better with this necklace though. That's just my opinion. You can have him in a horse stance, right? Legs out and bent. Cool stuff. Very cool stuff they did with this guy, you know, with his extra little movement. So it does work for him. And then kicking wise, right? You want to do like a front kick. You can get him doing a front kick. Which if you turn this in here, the slice a little bit, you can get a little bit more range. That's not too bad. Let's get him a little bit better posed. Doing like an axe kick, where he's kind of coming straight up. And you can do a side kick. Going off the side. And of course, if you want to do a lightning kick, Bruce Lee style, you can do that as well. punching. As you can see, he poses really easy. So you definitely can move him how you need to get everything to fall into play. So you can have him do katas even if you wanted. He does have a swivel down here at the bottom of the gi. I just want to point that out. But anyway, you can have him do a whole bunch of stuff if you wanted to. Whatever you choose to do. I just wanted to show off a little bit of posing because this guy poses really easy. So it's very good. Very good. Now, this guy comes with a few accessories, which he doesn't come with a whole lot, which is fine because, you know, Jada doesn't really put a whole lot of accessories in. But let me get him settled, and then we will take a look at the accessories. Here we have Akuma's angry looking face, and man, that looks really good the way that they did this. And yeah, I mean, you can't ask for anything better. The paint is absolutely just well done. The shading, everything. Even the hairstyle is just a wee bit different than what it is on the regular head sculpt. I mean, looking at the hair, you can see it's slightly different in the way that it is done with the angry head compared to the stoic head. But either way, beautiful work. And next we have his Kamehameha hands. And Kamehameha hands, his Hadouken hands, sorry. It's just, but with that head sculpt in the hands, I mean, that's just absolutely nice that you can actually do that with these new shoulders. I mean, look how nice that is to be able to bring that together so close to where he is actually going to be able to form the Hadouken here and then get ready to throw it out. So I think Jada did an awesome job with this. Very well done, considering that they're going off of the sprites from the game when it comes to the image of these characters. Doing a fabulous job. Okay, so next I wanted to show that you can actually pose him doing the Hadouken, and with the toe hinge, balances out perfectly. Nothing's holding him there, but also I wanted to show off his blast effect, which is almost kind of like Sagat's Eiger blast, right? Just a smaller version of it, the way that it looks. Yeah, very well done. Plugs in to the clear stand that it comes with. Not bad at all. Great looking effect to have with the figure. I thought they were going to give him the like electrical effects that he had coming off him, the way they showed him at the Comic-Con or whatever it was when they first showed him off. But hey, it's fine. We got the effect. You know what? We would have got the electric effects. Let me just say this: we would have got the electric effects that are on him, and everybody would have been like, "Oh, I wish we would have got the Hadouken." So either way, it's cool. I like the fact that he's got the Hadouken. You could do many different things. You could have him do the Raging Demon, which, you know, that would have been a cool effect to have too, which would have just been, you know, black and a shadowed out version of him doing it. But it makes no difference because you can do whatever you want with the figure. All right, let me get him settled and then we'll go over everything and we'll end this review. Okay guys, so that is my review on this figure, and I have to say that everything with this figure, and I do love the way Jada and I do love the way Storm Collectibles are doing these figures. I like both lines. That's the beauty of it. Like I said before in one of my other videos, these guys know what they're doing. They may be competitors, but they're sitting there at the table with each other, kicking back, drinking mimosas, because they're giving us choices. You could choose the Alpha 3 line if that's what you want, or you could choose the Ultra Street Fighter 2 Final Challengers Jada Toys line if that's what you want. You have choices on what you want to buy. You can buy both if you want, or pick one. It doesn't make a difference. Storm does their figures the way they do them, and Jada does their figures the way they do them. I will tell you this: if it wasn't for Jada, Storm wouldn't have dropped their scale down. That's just my personal opinion. Before anybody gets angry and starts going, don't. That's my opinion, and that's a fact. Since Jada brought the Street Fighter figures out in this size with great articulation and great sculpt all the way around, Storm Marino, well, still was Storm Collectibles, still is, but excuse me, Storm Collectible figures were bigger. Storm Marinos are smaller. They dropped them down, and that's great. I'm not picking on either one. I think they're both great. But like I said, it's your choice to pick and choose. Not one's going to knock the other one out of the park because, you know, they're doing two different lines. Now, when it comes down to Jada doing their alpha line, that's a different story. Then you got kind of a head-to-head competition right there, depending on how well they are. I haven't seen any of them. I mean, I've seen renders, but not actual figures. So anyway, enough of my rambling. This is a great figure to put into your collection if you are a Street Fighter fan. And if you're not and you just want some badass in your line, excuse me, Akuma is the one. Akuma has always been one of my favorites since he first came out, and I'm glad I finally got him. And yeah, he is absolutely awesome. The fact that they did the conj on the back of the gi and on the front of his beads there, yeah, they didn't even have to include that, but they did. That little conch that they put on there, fabulous work. Fabulous work. Great attention to detail when it comes to the figure. Couple worries on mine that you know, not that it's happening. I think down in later on in the future, just like in any other figure, toe articulation is going to get loose. Going to have a flippy floppy there. Pardon the pun. Hopefully not. And as far as with the necklace, the only thing that annoys me really is just that little plastic tie in the back that they used for his necklace there. I think they could have done something a little bit better, like a string or something, and clipped it. But then again, I understand, or you know, a piece of stretchy string, whatever they need to use. It's fine. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the little clear tie in the back, and I understand what they were doing there, it bothers me. It doesn't break the you know, the fact that I got him, or it makes me dislike the figure any, because it doesn't. I don't have anybody out here to compare him to, so I do apologize. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. Always hit the notification bell so you never miss out anything new. And I'll catch you on the flippity flip.